Welcome back, English learners. My name is Marco, and I am joined by
Erica.
How are you, Erica?
I'm doing great, Marco. And you?
Excellent. I'm doing really well, and I'm really excited about our lesson for today.
That's right. We've got an intermediate lesson today, and we're going to study some real English.
English that you use every day, right?
That's right. English that native speakers really use.
Exactly. And today, as Erica mentioned, we have an intermediate lesson. And not only is it intermediate, but it's a business lesson.
Yes. So today we're listening in to a sales meeting, and we're going to learn some great useful English to talk about sales strategies. So we're going to learn English for sales strategies, for making suggestions, and for responding to suggestions.
Great. So why don't we take a look at our vocabulary preview for today?
Vocabulary preview.
So our vocabulary preview is a part of our lesson when we teach you some really important words that will help you to understand the dialogue better.
Okay, great. So that is what vocabulary preview is. We have 2 words for you today, and we can start off by looking at the first one.
Our first word today is drive sales.
Drive sales.
Drive sales.
To drive sales, and that means?
To increase sales.
Right, to sell more.
Exactly. So to drive sales.
Okay, so now let's look at our second word, and it's an interesting one. It's promotion.
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 So Erica, what is a promotion exactly?
Okay, so here we're not really talking about getting a better job, right?
Okay, yeah, not like a job promotion.
No, we're talking about a marketing strategy.
Okay, so I can give you an example. Suppose that I want to buy shampoo.
Uh-huh.
And if I go to the supermarket and I see buy one and get one free.
So that's a 2-for-1.
That's a 2-for-1 promotion.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
That's a sales promotion. Or
perhaps the shampoo in the supermarket is less expensive than usual.
Okay.
Usually maybe it costs $5, but today it costs $4. That's a sales promotion.
great. So that's a really good marketing strategy.
Exactly. And we'll hear this word in our dialogue today.
Great. So we are ready to listen to our dialogue. It's going to be pretty fast, so it might be a little bit difficult to understand.
But don't worry if you don't understand everything, because later in this lesson, we're going to explain all the important words and phrases.
All right, people, we're holding this meeting today because we've got to do something about our sales, and we need to do it now. I want concrete solutions. How do you plan to drive sales? Roger.
Well, in fact, we're the most expensive in the market, so maybe we need to lower our prices to match the competitors?
Lower our prices. Not very creative. It'll never fly with Swan. What kind of thinking is that? Jeez. Anyone have a better plan? Natalie.
Perhaps a promotion. Maybe a 2-for-1 offer or something like that.
What? It's the same thing. Bad idea. Really bad idea. Damn it, people. Come on. Think. The CEO will be here any minute.
Hello, Mr. Swan.
Oh, Mr. Swan.
Hello, Mr. Swan.
Do we have any ideas yet?
Yes, Mr. Swan. We were kind of considering a 2-for-1 offer to get more competitive.
A 2-for-1 promotion. I kind of like the sound of that. It sounds like something we should consider.
Yeah, exactly. That's just what I was thinking. In fact, it's a brilliant idea. I'm glad we thought of that. Very creative.
Okay, so an interesting manager, right?
I don't know about interesting. Maybe I would think bad manager.
We're going to talk about him later on in the show. But now let's take a look at our language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Okay, so language takeaway is the part of our lesson where we teach you the most important words from the dialogue. All these words that we are going to focus on can be found in today's dialogue.
Exactly. So we have 3 words for you today. Let's look at the first one. Match the competitors.
Match the competitors.
Match the competitors.
Match the competitors.
Great. So we have some examples for you so you can listen and try and see if you can figure out what match the competitors really means.
Example 1. We guarantee that we can match the competitor's lowest price. Example 2.
It's impossible for us to match the competitors. Our costs are just too high.
Example 3. Do you think we can match our competitors' prices and still keep our quality high?
Okay, so I see that match the competitors means to be as good as or better than other companies in the same industry.
Exactly. Match the competitors.
All right, so let's move to our second word today for language takeaways, and it is in the market.
In the market.
In the market.
In the market.
We heard this phrase in the dialogue, and it means in the industry.
Exactly. I can say, for example, English Pod is the best language pod in the market.
So, of all the podcasts that teach English, English Pod is the best.
Of course, no
Yeah.
doubt about it.
I totally agree.
Right. Or I can give you another example. iPods are the most popular MP3 players in the market.
So, of all the MP3 players in the world, iPods are the most popular. So, let's move to our final word for today, and it is
It'll never fly.
it'll never fly.
It'll never fly.
It will never fly.
So this phrase sounds a little bit strange.
I know, fly? Are we talking about an airplane here? What's going on?
Exactly, but we're not. So we're going to give you some examples and try and guess what it'll never fly really means.
Example 1. This marketing plan will never fly. It's just too expensive. Example 2.
What? You want to sell bikinis in Alaska? That'll never fly.
Example 3. Brad told me his idea for a film script, but the story will never fly. It's not interesting enough.
So it means it won't work.
It won't work. It's not a good idea.
They'll never agree.
Exactly. Great. So now we've seen a lot of useful phrases and we are ready to listen to our dialogue a second time. But this time it's going to be slow.
So you'll be able to understand a little bit better and you'll be able to hear the words and phrases we were just talking about.
Welcome to WorldPod English Video. Today's story is about something we all face in business and even in life. How to sell ideas, not just products. This story will take you inside a busy company where everyone is trying to find a way to drive sales and impress their boss. But it's more than that. It's about confidence, smart communication, and understanding how people think. I remember the first time I joined a sales meeting. The big table was full of serious faces, laptops open, coffee cups half full. The manager stood up and said, "We need ideas to drive sales." Everyone froze. It was not just a meeting, it felt like a test of creativity. Many people think selling is only about money, but real selling is about connection. When you understand people's needs and emotions, your words become powerful. You don't sell a product, you offer a solution. This is a golden rule in English business communication. Sell the feeling, not the thing. In that meeting, a young woman named Anna raised her hand and said softly, "What if we try a 2-for-1 promotion?" The room went quiet. Some laughed, thinking it was too simple, but later the CEO said, "That's brilliant." You see, sometimes the simplest idea, said with confidence, can change everything. In business English, we often use expressions like drive sales, to increase sales, or match the competitors, to be as good as other companies. These are powerful phrases that make you sound professional and confident. If you ever join a meeting, remember this. Speak clearly, stay calm, and use strong phrases like, I suggest we consider, or it might be a good idea too. They show respect and smart thinking. The morning sun touched the glass walls of the company office, making everything look fresh and full of promise. Everyone was preparing for another meeting, the sales ideas meeting. I could feel the tension in the air. Papers were being printed, slides adjusted, and coffee cups refilled again and again. As I watched, I realized something powerful. Language is the tool of persuasion. In business, people don't only listen to what you say, they notice how you say it. Words can make others trust you, believe you, or doubt you. That's why learning business English is not only about grammar, but about tone, confidence, and clarity. When the meeting started, the manager looked around and said, "We need a fresh plan to drive sales." The room was silent. Then one person said, "Maybe we should lower our prices to match the competitors." It was a safe idea, but not exciting. The manager frowned. "That'll never fly," he said, meaning it won't work. The phrase, "it'll never fly," is a natural way to say it won't succeed. It's informal, but often used in offices. Learning these kinds of expressions helps you sound more like a native speaker. Then another team member said, "Let's think about a promotion, maybe a buy one, get one offer." The manager again seemed unsure, but later the boss said it was a brilliant idea. That's another useful word. Brilliant means great or very clever. That meeting taught me that in business, confidence and timing are everything. You can have the same idea as someone else, but if you express it at the right time with the right tone, people will see it as brilliant.
That afternoon, I sat near the office window, thinking about what had happened in the meeting. Everyone had great ideas, but most of them were afraid to speak. It made me wonder, why do people stay quiet when they have something valuable to say? In business, silence can be dangerous. You might have the best idea in the room, but if you don't express it clearly, no one will know your potential. Speaking up is not about being loud, it's about being confident, calm, and respectful. When you say your idea with belief, people listen. I once read a quote that said, "Confidence is silent, insecurities are loud." That's true even in English speaking. When you use phrases like, "I believe this could help our sales," or "let's consider this approach," you sound confident and professional without being pushy. These phrases show teamwork and intelligence, perfect for any meeting. The next day, Anna, the woman who suggested the promotion idea, became everyone's favorite. People began asking her opinions. Even the manager, who first ignored her, started to listen. Her words had value because she believed in them. And that's another great lesson for English learners. Words become powerful when spoken with meaning. Grammar and vocabulary are important, but your attitude gives your language life. If you want to improve your business English, start practicing polite yet firm expressions, like, "I'd like to suggest." From my point of view, it might be useful to consider. These expressions make you sound smart and respectful at the same time. Use them in meetings, interviews, or even daily conversations, and you'll notice the difference. The next morning, the company's atmosphere was different. People were smiling more, talking freely, and even laughing a little. One small idea had changed the whole mood of the team. That's the power of communication. It can turn pressure into motivation. As I watched Anna preparing her report, I thought about how her confidence grew overnight. She wasn't just giving ideas anymore, she was explaining them clearly and politely. When she spoke, she used natural English phrases like, "I'd like to suggest a short-term promotion plan," and "it might help us drive sales faster." Her tone was calm, but her message was strong. In business, how you say something matters even more than what you say. That's why it's important to learn expressions that make you sound both confident and respectful. For example, "That's a great point, but may I add something?" Perhaps we could look at another option. "Let's focus on solutions that fit our market." These sentences are polite but still show leadership. They make you sound like a problem solver, not just a worker. Later in the meeting, the manager said, "We need concrete solutions." That phrase means real, clear, and practical ideas, not just dreams or guesses. In English meetings, this phrase is very common. If your boss asks for concrete solutions, it means they want detailed plans they can use. The discussion became lively, and everyone started sharing more ideas. Even the shy employees spoke up. They used words like promotion, customer loyalty, and sales strategy. It felt like the team had found its rhythm. The biggest lesson from that day? Good communication don't only improve your English, it can also improve your career. So speak up, use positive language, and believe in your words.
The following week, the company had a big surprise. The CEO himself was going to attend the next sales meeting. Everyone wanted to look prepared and professional. You could feel the nervous energy in the room. People were rehearsing their lines, checking their slides, and practicing how to speak in a more business English way. When the CEO walked in, the room went silent. He smiled and said, "All right, let's hear your ideas." That simple sentence made hearts beat faster. But this time, things were different. People were ready. They had learned the power of good communication. Anna stood up again, but now her voice was stronger. "Sir," she began, "we're considering a 2-for-1 promotion to attract new customers. It could help us drive sales in the short term and build loyalty in the long term." Everyone nodded. She used professional words: considering, attract, drive sales, loyalty. These are not difficult, but they sound smart when used naturally. The CEO smiled and said, "That's a brilliant idea." That word, brilliant, changed everything. It means clever, excellent, very good. In business, using positive adjectives like brilliant, effective, creative, or productive makes your English more powerful. Instead of saying good, say effective. Instead of nice, say impressive. Small changes make a big difference. The CEO asked a few questions, and Anna answered calmly. "Yes, we've considered customer feedback. We believe this strategy will match our competitors. We'll measure the results weekly." Her English was simple, but every sentence showed confidence and clarity. The whole room felt inspired. That day, I learned something unforgettable. English fluency is not about big words. It's about using the right words at the right time. When you speak clearly and confidently, you lead the conversation. After that successful meeting, the team's energy completely changed. People who once feared speaking English now started practicing every day. The office felt alive, filled with ideas, laughter, and teamwork. Even during lunch, they talked about phrases and expressions that made communication smoother. I remember one moment when a colleague named David said, "You know, before this, I thought business English was just big words, but now I see it's about clear and confident communication." He was right. You don't need difficult vocabulary to sound professional. You just need to sound natural and polite. Anna became a quiet leader in the office. She often helped her coworkers with business phrases. When you make suggestions, use polite expressions like "I'd recommend" or "it might be helpful to." They show respect and professionalism. One day, a new employee asked her, "How do you handle criticism from your boss?" She smiled and said, "I listen first. Then I say, 'Thank you for your feedback. I'll consider that.' It shows maturity." That's a perfect phrase for business English. "I'll consider that." Calm, polite, and powerful. In that office, everyone began to focus not only on selling products, but also on selling ideas. They learned that every presentation, every meeting is a chance to connect through language. They practiced pronunciation, tone, and even how to pause naturally, because a good pause can be more effective than too many words. Soon, the team's sales improved, but more than that, their confidence grew. People no longer avoided meetings, they looked forward to them.
Communication had become their new strength. So remember this, fluency is not about perfection, it's about connection. Speak with heart, listen with attention, and your English will shine. Weeks later, the company began to see real results, not just in numbers, but in attitude. Meetings felt more open, creative, and full of energy. Everyone spoke English with more confidence, and even those who were once silent began to share smart ideas. It was amazing to see how language could change not just communication, but the entire spirit of a workplace. One afternoon, the manager said, "We need to plan our next marketing campaign." This time, no one stayed quiet. People started using expressions they had learned. "Let's brainstorm some ideas. We could consider a new promotion. It might be useful to analyze customer feedback." These phrases showed teamwork and professionalism. The conversation was flowing and everyone respected each other's turn to speak. That's what fluent business English does. It builds trust. Anna took notes carefully. Then she said, "Maybe we can create a customer loyalty program." The room lit up. Everyone loved the idea. The manager nodded and said, "That's exactly what we need." Words like loyalty, promotion, drive sales, and competitive became part of their daily language. The office started to sound more global, more professional, more connected. One thing I loved most was how they began to support each other. When someone made a grammar mistake, others corrected it kindly. "You mean increase sales, not make sales bigger," Anna would say, smiling. It wasn't criticism, it was teamwork. This part of their journey showed something powerful. When you use English to connect, not to impress, people respect you more. Fluency is not showing off. It's building bridges between ideas and people. The next month brought a big challenge. The company's main competitor launched a massive campaign that attracted many customers. Everyone in the office felt pressure again. The manager called another meeting and said, "We must find a way to stay competitive." But this time, there was no fear, only determination. The team had learned how to think and communicate like leaders. Anna stood up confidently and said, "We can't just copy our competitors. We need to offer something more, better service, stronger connection, real trust." Her English was clear, powerful, and full of emotion. Then she added, "Let's create a marketing plan that focuses on customer loyalty. If people feel cared for, they'll stay." The manager smiled and said, "That's a concrete solution." The phrase concrete solution means a real, practical idea that can work, not just a dream or theory. In business English, this expression is essential when presenting ideas in meetings. You can say things like, "We need concrete steps to improve performance," or "Let's come up with a concrete solution before the next meeting." The meeting continued with energy. David said, "We can design a thank you campaign for our regular customers." Another person added, "We can also match our competitors' prices for 1 month." They used the phrase "match the competitors" naturally, meaning to offer the same quality or price as other companies. At that moment, I realized how much their English and mindset had grown. They were not just workers anymore. They were thinkers, problem solvers, and leaders. The manager looked around and said, "I'm proud of this team. You've learned how to speak with confidence and purpose." Everyone smiled because they knew that learning English had helped them grow both professionally and personally. A few weeks later, the company celebrated its best month of the year. Sales had gone up, new customers were joining, and even the CEO mentioned the team's creativity in a meeting. Everyone clapped, smiling with pride. But what truly made this success special was not just numbers, it was communication. Anna looked around and said, "We didn't just drive sales, we built trust." Everyone agreed. The team had learned that the most powerful tool in business is not technology, not strategy, but language. How you use it, how you share it, and how you make people feel through it. She stood up and shared something beautiful. At first, I was scared to speak English in front of others. I thought I would make mistakes. But I realized something: mistakes are part of learning. What matters is trying. Confidence doesn't come from perfect grammar. It comes from courage. That moment touched everyone in the room. Even the manager said, "You've taught us something valuable." Confidence can drive success faster than any marketing plan. Then, as they discussed their next steps, people used fluent, natural English without even thinking about it. They said things like, "Let's consider new ideas for next quarter." It sounds like something we should plan for. That's a brilliant suggestion. Those were the same phrases they once learned in their English lessons, now flowing naturally in real life. And that's what this story is all about. Learning English not only to speak, but to connect, inspire, and grow. When you use words with purpose, you don't just speak English, you create opportunities. The success story of that small sales team began to spread across the company. Other departments started asking how they managed to grow so quickly. Anna and her colleagues were invited to share their experience with new employees. The meeting room was full, and all eyes were on her. She started speaking with calm confidence. Our journey wasn't just about selling more. It was about learning how to communicate better with customers, with each other, and even with ourselves. Her English was simple, but her message was powerful. Everyone listened carefully, taking notes. She continued and said, "When we first began, we didn't even know how to express our ideas properly. But we practiced. We learned to use words like promotion, loyalty, and drive sales in real situations. We learned how to sound professional using small phrases like, 'I suggest,' 'Let's consider,' and 'It might be helpful to.' These phrases changed how people listened to us." Then she smiled and said, "But the biggest change wasn't in our English. It was in our mindset. We stopped being afraid of making mistakes. Instead, we focused on progress." Everyone in the room could feel her sincerity. The HR manager nodded and said, "You've turned learning English into a leadership skill. That's impressive." Anna replied, "Anyone can do it. You just need patience and practice. Speak every day, even if it's not perfect. English isn't about perfection. It's about connection." The room filled with applause. The new employees were inspired. Some of them decided to start their own English at Work group, where they'd practice speaking every morning before work. The story of that small sales team became a symbol of how language, when used with purpose, can transform a workplace and even lives.
One morning, the company organized a workshop called Speak to Lead. It was designed to help employees use English more effectively in meetings and presentations. Anna was invited to share a few thoughts as the first speaker. She stood in front of everyone with a gentle smile and began, "Good communication isn't about using difficult words. It's about making your message clear and meaningful." The audience listened closely. She continued, "When you speak English at work, focus on purpose, not perfection. Use short, strong sentences. Instead of saying, 'I am thinking maybe we can possibly try to,' say, 'I suggest we try this.' It's confident, simple, and clear." She wrote a few useful expressions on the whiteboard. "Let's take action." That sounds like a solid idea. "We should consider this option carefully." Then she explained, "These phrases help you sound like a problem solver. People trust your words more when you speak directly, but politely." The manager, sitting in the back, smiled proudly. He whispered to a colleague, "Look at her. She used to be so shy. Now she speaks like a leader." After the session, several employees approached Anna and thanked her. One of them said, "You made business English feel easy and real. I used to think it was all about memorizing words, but now I understand it's about expressing ideas. Anna replied kindly, "That's the secret. Learn English to share, not to show off. When your goal is to connect, your language becomes powerful." The workshop ended with laughter, questions, and people practicing their new expressions. Everyone left the room with a sense of confidence and hope, because they had seen how English could turn fear into opportunity. The next week, something amazing happened. The company received an invitation to join an international business fair in Singapore. It was a big opportunity, a chance to present their brand to global investors. The manager immediately chose Anna to lead the presentation. She felt nervous, but excited. "I can do this," she whispered to herself. For days, she prepared carefully. She practiced her introduction, learned key phrases, and refined her pronunciation. She knew that in international meetings, clear English is more powerful than complicated English. She practiced saying, "Our goal is to build trust with our customers. We believe quality and honesty drive sales. We value long-term partnerships." Each sentence was short, but full of meaning. She also practiced body language, eye contact, posture, and hand movements, because communication isn't just about words, it's about presence. When the big day arrived, she stood on stage under bright lights. People from different countries sat in front of her. She took a deep breath and started. "Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to share our story with you today." Her voice was calm and confident. As she spoke about teamwork, creativity, and success, the audience nodded and smiled. She used real-life examples from the company's journey, how simple ideas and strong communication turn challenges into growth. Every phrase felt natural, like drive sales, customer loyalty, competitive market, and concrete results. By the end, the room filled with applause. One of the international partners said, "That was brilliant. Your message was clear, honest, and inspiring." Anna smiled. She had not only represented her company, she had represented confidence, learning, and growth through English. That day, she realized something. English fluency isn't about perfect grammar. It's about expressing your truth so others can understand it. When Anna returned from Singapore, the whole office gathered around to hear about her experience. She walked in carrying a small souvenir, a silver pen given to her by one of the investors. "It's a reminder," she said with a smile, "that good communication opens doors you never knew existed." The manager asked, "How did you feel speaking English on such a big stage?" She replied, "At first, I was nervous, but then I remembered. Confidence isn't about being perfect, it's about being prepared." She shared what she learned from the event. "People don't remember every word you say," she explained. "They remember how you make them feel. When you speak with warmth and clarity, your message stays in their hearts." She encouraged her coworkers to practice short, effective business phrases every day. "Let's take this step by step." I completely agree with that point. Could we explore this idea further? These expressions make you sound thoughtful and professional without sounding too formal. Later that day, one of the newer employees told her, "I always get nervous when I speak English in meetings." Anna smiled and said, "You know what helps? Practice speaking to yourself. Describe your day in English, even small things like, 'I'm preparing my report,' or 'I'm calling a client.' The more you speak, the more natural it becomes." Her advice worked like magic. Within weeks, many in the office started talking in English during coffee breaks. They corrected each other gently, laughed together, and celebrated every small improvement. That small shift from fear to practice made the office a better place. People no longer saw English as a subject. They saw it as a bridge to connect ideas, build friendships, and create success. Months passed, and the company's culture had completely transformed. English wasn't just a work requirement anymore. It had become part of their everyday life. Team members used it in meetings, emails, and even friendly chats. The office buzzed with positive energy. Everyone wanted to learn more, speak better, and sound more natural. One morning, the manager said, "We've come a long way, but we still need to improve our communication with international clients." So, they decided to start a new project, weekly English Power Hours. For 1 hour each week, the whole team would speak only in English, discussing topics like marketing, teamwork, or motivation. The first session was exciting. Some employees were shy, but Anna encouraged them gently. Don't worry about mistakes. Fluency grows through practice, not perfection. She started with a fun question. What do you think makes a great business leader? People raised their hands, eager to speak. A great leader listens, said one. A great leader motivates, added another. A great leader communicates clearly, said a third. Anna smiled. Exactly, she said. And that's why English is so powerful. It helps us express ideas that inspire others. During that hour, the team used many useful expressions. In my opinion, that's a brilliant idea. We should focus on solutions. The more they spoke, the more confident they became. Even those who once feared speaking English started laughing and joining in. By the end of the session, everyone agreed. Practicing English together not only improved their language, but also strengthened their teamwork. The company wasn't just growing in business, it was growing in connection. That day, Anna realized something beautiful. Language is not only for business, it's for building understanding between hearts.
One quiet evening, after everyone had gone home, Anna stayed late at the office. The lights were dim, and the sound of the city outside was soft and distant. She sat by the window, looking at the skyline, thinking about how far she had come, from a shy employee afraid to speak English to a confident leader who inspired others. She opened her notebook and wrote down a few thoughts. 1. Confidence grows through practice. 2. Mistakes are part of progress. 3. Communication builds connection. These 3 lessons had changed her life. She realized that English had not only improved her career, but it helped her understand people better. It made her patient, thoughtful, and more expressive. The next day, she shared her reflections with the team. When we started, she said, we were only focused on sales. But what truly changed everything was the way we spoke, the way we shared our ideas, listened to others, and encouraged each other. The manager nodded. He said, "You're right. Sales didn't grow because of big plans. They grew because of strong communication." Anna smiled. That's the secret. Every word matters. When you speak with respect and honesty, people listen. That's how you build trust, in business and in life. Then she added, let's keep improving. Every meeting, every conversation is a chance to grow. Let's continue using phrases like, I recommend, let's consider, and that sounds like a great idea. These small expressions show confidence and teamwork. Everyone agreed. The room felt full of inspiration again. They had discovered something greater than success. They had found a new way to connect, to learn, and to grow together. And as the day ended, Anna felt grateful. English had given her not just words to speak, but a voice to lead. A few weeks later, the company hosted an internal event called Words That Win. It was an English-speaking challenge where employees would share short stories about how communication had changed their work or life. Anna was one of the judges, and she couldn't stop smiling as she watched her colleagues confidently stand on stage. People who once feared speaking now spoke proudly, using fluent, natural English. One young employee named Sam walked up nervously and began. When I first joined this company, I was scared to say anything in meetings. I thought my English wasn't good enough. But one day, I decided to try. I said, I think we should consider a new design. And guess what? My idea was accepted. The audience clapped. Sam smiled and added, that moment taught me something important. If you never speak, no one will ever hear your good ideas. Anna nodded, deeply moved. Exactly, she said after a speech. Courage is the first step to fluency. Throughout the event, employees used phrases like, it'll never fly, to describe failed ideas, drive sales, to explain business goals, be here any minute, to talk naturally about time. These weren't just textbook expressions anymore. They were part of real communication. At the end, Anna took the microphone. I'm so proud of all of you, she said warmly. Your English has improved, but more importantly, your confidence has grown. You've learned that the best words are spoken with belief and kindness. The crowd applauded, and the atmosphere was full of joy. Everyone realized that language learning was not a race. It was a journey where every word, every attempt, and every small success mattered. That evening, as the event ended, Anna whispered to herself, when you give people a voice, you give them power.
The next morning, after the event, the office felt alive with excitement. People were still talking about the Words That Win challenge. Even those who hadn't participated were now eager to practice speaking English. The shyest employees were forming small groups in the cafeteria, discussing phrases and pronunciation tips. Anna walked in with her usual smile and said, let's start every morning with a 5-minute English talk. Everyone agreed immediately. So, every day before work, the team gathered near the meeting room and spoke about simple topics, plans, goals, or something they learned recently. One morning, Anna began, today, let's talk about motivation. What keeps you going at work? David said, when someone appreciates my work, I feel stronger. Another colleague added, learning new things motivates me. Anna nodded. That's wonderful. In English, we can say, that keeps me going, or that drives me to do better. It's a natural and positive way to express motivation. Every short session was full of laughter and learning. People used real expressions. I totally agree. That's a brilliant idea. Let's make it happen. Each phrase built confidence like a small brick in a tall building. Soon, this daily habit began to change more than just their English. It changed how they thought and worked. People became more supportive, more creative, and more open to ideas. The English talks had turned into a symbol of teamwork. Anna noticed this change and felt proud. We used to think of English as just a skill, but now it's our strength, our bridge to success. That day, everyone left the room smiling, knowing that even small steps, when taken daily, could lead to big transformations. As months went by, the company's reputation grew beyond expectations. Not only had they increased their sales, but they had also built a new identity, a team known for clear, confident, and inspiring communication. Their English had become their strength, and clients admired how naturally they spoke and wrote. One afternoon, the manager called everyone for a quick meeting. We just received an invitation to collaborate with a large international company, he said excitedly. The room filled with applause.
They said they were impressed by our professional communication and teamwork. Anna smiled proudly. That's what happens when you use language to connect, she said. People don't only hear your words, they feel your confidence. In preparation for this new collaboration, the team started working on presentations and emails. Anna helped them sound more fluent and natural. She explained, when you write business emails, keep your sentences short and polite. For example, instead of writing, "We are writing to inform you that we would like to discuss," you can say, "We'd like to discuss." It's simple, direct, and friendly. She also reminded them of the importance of phrases like, "We appreciate your time. Please find the details attached. We look forward to hearing from you." These expressions are common in global business and make your English sound both polite and professional. The team worked hard, helping each other with grammar and pronunciation. Every mistake became a learning moment, not a failure. Anna often said, "Don't fear mistakes. They're proof that you're trying." When they finally sent their proposal to the international company, everyone felt proud. It was written in perfect natural English. Not too formal, not too simple, just clear and confident. That evening, as Anna walked home, she thought, we didn't just learn English, we learned to believe in ourselves. A few days later, the international company replied, and the news was fantastic. They loved the proposal and wanted to begin the partnership immediately. The entire office burst into cheers. It was a victory not just for the business, but for communication, teamwork, and learning. The manager walked into the meeting room with a big smile. "I'm proud of all of you," he said. "Your effort, your teamwork, and your English have made this happen." The team clapped and laughed, still amazed by how far they had come. Anna looked around the room. Everyone seemed more confident, more united. "You see," she said warmly, "when you speak clearly, you open new doors. English didn't just help us talk, it helped us grow." Later, as they prepared for their first meeting with the new partner, Anna coached the team on business communication skills. "Always listen carefully before you respond," she said, "and use polite phrases like, 'That's a great point,' or 'Let's look at this from another angle.' These phrases make you sound thoughtful and professional." They practiced greetings, introductions, and discussions. "Good morning, it's a pleasure to meet you. We're excited to work together." That sounds like a great opportunity. The day of the meeting arrived. They connected through video conference, people from 2 different countries speaking the same language with ease and respect. The conversation flowed naturally. Laughter filled the room. It didn't feel like a business deal anymore. It felt like friendship. After the call, the manager turned to Anna and said, "You've changed this company. You taught us that English isn't just a language, it's confidence." She smiled and replied, "We all learned it together. When people believe in each other, words become powerful." That evening, everyone left the office with pride, knowing they were part of something bigger, a team that learned, grew, and succeeded together through the language of connection. The next morning, sunlight poured through the glass windows of the office. The team gathered around the table for their regular meeting, but this time there was something different, a deep sense of pride and calm confidence. The company was no longer just successful, it was united by purpose and language. Anna began the meeting by saying, "Let's take a moment to celebrate how far we've come. Every word we've practiced, every mistake we've learned from has brought us here." The room filled with smiles. Everyone knew she was right. She continued, "Now that we've built this partnership, our next goal is to strengthen our communication even more. Let's keep using expressions that make our English sound warm and professional." She wrote on the whiteboard, "We truly appreciate your cooperation. That's a brilliant approach. Let's move forward with this plan." Then she said, "These phrases don't just sound good, they build trust. Every polite word makes your listener feel respected. The manager added, and that's the secret to great business: respect and clarity. The team began discussing their new project with enthusiasm. Ideas flowed easily, and everyone spoke with confidence. They no longer worried about grammar or mistakes. They focused on expressing meaning. English had become their natural rhythm. As the meeting ended, the CEO walked in unexpectedly. He said, "I've been watching your progress. You've proven that good communication creates real success. I'm impressed, not just by your sales, but by your teamwork." He turned to Anna and said, "You've changed this company. You taught this company something priceless: how to use language as a bridge, not a barrier." The room filled with applause. Anna looked around at her colleagues. The same people who once hesitated to speak now spoke fearlessly and fluently. She realized the real achievement wasn't just better English, it was confidence, courage, and connection. A few months later, the company had completely transformed. It wasn't just about selling products anymore. It had become a place where ideas, teamwork, and communication flourished. The office that was once quiet was now full of conversation, laughter, and creativity. Anna often walked through the office with a warm smile. She loved hearing people practicing phrases like, "That's a great point," or "Let's consider another strategy." These were not just English lessons. They were signs of confidence and growth. One day, during a casual coffee break, David asked, "Anna, do you think learning English really changed our company?" She laughed softly. "Of course it did," she said. "It changed how we think, how we connect, and how we lead. English gave us courage to speak up and share our ideas." She continued, "Before, we waited for instructions. Now we create solutions. We used to say, 'We can't,' but now we say, 'Let's try.' That's the real power of language." Later that week, the manager called Anna to his office. "We're planning to expand internationally," he said proudly, "and I want you to lead our global communication team." For a moment, Anna was speechless. Then she smiled and said, "Thank you. It'll be my honor." She knew this was more than a promotion. It was proof that her journey had meaning. From being too shy to speak English to becoming a leader of international communication, she had come full circle. That evening, she shared her story with her team. "Never underestimate the power of words," she said. "Every sentence you speak in English is a step toward a bigger world. Don't chase perfection, chase progress." The team applauded, inspired once again. They realized that English wasn't just a skill, it was a door to endless opportunities. The next morning, Anna arrived early. The office was quiet, and the air felt fresh with new possibilities. She stood by the window, watching the sunrise, and thought about the journey that had brought her here. From her first nervous word in English to leading a global team, it all felt like a dream come true. As the day began, she gathered her team for their first international strategy meeting. "Today," she said, "we start a new chapter. We'll be working with partners from different countries. Our English will not only connect ideas, but also cultures." Everyone listened carefully. When we speak with people from around the world, we must focus on being clear, polite, and respectful. Use simple sentences, smile often, and listen with care. Remember, the goal of communication is not to impress, it's to connect. She wrote a few phrases on the board to guide them. "Could you please explain that again?" That's an interesting point. Let's find a solution that works for both sides. These expressions were simple yet powerful. They helped people sound professional, kind, and cooperative. Then she reminded them, when you work with people from other cultures, small things matter, like tone, patience, and body language. English is not just about words, it's about respect.
The team practiced their dialogues and emails. They corrected each other gently, laughed, and learned together. Anna felt proud watching them, how they had turned from learners into leaders. Later that evening, she received a message from a partner abroad. Your team's communication is excellent, clear, friendly, and inspiring. She smiled, knowing this was just the beginning. That night, as she closed her laptop, Anna whispered, "Language is more than speech, it's the heartbeat of understanding."
The following week, Anna's team had their first live meeting with their international partners. The conference room was filled with quiet excitement. Laptops were open, headsets ready, and hearts beating fast. Everyone knew this was an important moment, their chance to show how far they had come. When the screen lit up and faces from around the world appeared, Anna smiled warmly and said, "Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to meet you." Her calm tone instantly made everyone feel comfortable. The meeting began smoothly, full of energy and cooperation. As discussions continued, her teammates spoke naturally. David said, "That's a great idea. Let's consider how we can apply it." Sarah added, "We might want to adjust the timeline to make it more effective." Their partners nodded with appreciation. They were impressed by how professional, polite, and clear the team sounded. At one point, a small misunderstanding happened due to an accent difference. Instead of getting confused, Anna smiled and said, "Could you please repeat that? I just want to be sure I understood correctly." It was such a simple sentence, but it showed respect and calmness. Everyone relaxed again. After the meeting, one of the international partners wrote in the chat, "Your communication is brilliant, so clear and kind. It's a joy to work with your team." Anna looked around the room, proud and moved. "See," she said softly, "it's not about perfect grammar or big words. It's about connection. When your heart is clear, your English is clear." The team celebrated with laughter and coffee. They had not only learned English, but also earned genuine respect from people across borders. Anna felt grateful. She said to herself, "We didn't just learn English, we learned how to connect with the world." After that successful meeting, the team's confidence soared. The office buzzed with energy, and even the quietest employees started to believe in their voices. English had become more than just a skill. It was now the company's shared language of growth and teamwork. One afternoon, while preparing reports, Anna overheard two employees practicing a conversation. "Let's drive sales by creating a new promotion," one said. "Great idea. We can match the competitors for a short time," the other replied. Anna smiled. Those were the exact phrases she had once taught them. Now they were using them naturally. Later, during a short feedback session, Anna asked, "How do you all feel using English every day now?" David said proudly, "I used to translate everything in my head, but now English just flows." Sarah added, "I've learned that small phrases can make a big difference. Saying, 'That's brilliant,' or 'I completely agree,' makes me sound confident and friendly." Anna nodded. "Exactly," she said. "Confidence is not about using difficult words. It's about speaking simply, but with energy and purpose." Then she shared one of her favorite lessons. People won't always remember what you said, but they'll remember how your words made them feel. That's the secret to good communication: warmth, clarity, and respect. The manager, who had been quietly listening, said, "I think we should make communication our company culture, not just something we do in meetings." Everyone agreed immediately. From that day, English became part of everything, from emails to celebrations.
A few weeks later, the company held an event called The Power of Words. It was a day to celebrate communication, teamwork, and the progress everyone had made in English. The conference room was decorated with inspiring quotes like "Speak with purpose" and "Confidence starts with conversation." Anna opened the event with her usual calm energy. "Today," she said, "we celebrate not only how we speak English, but how English has helped us grow together." Her words felt warm and real. Everyone in the room could feel her pride. Employees shared short stories about their learning journeys. One said, "At first, I was afraid of saying something wrong, but now I speak freely in meetings." Another added, I learned that the best way to sound fluent is to speak slowly, clearly, and with confidence. Anna smiled and said, yes, fluency isn't speed, it's clarity. When you speak clearly, people listen. Then she introduced a short activity. Let's practice how to sound professional in different situations. She gave examples. When agreeing, that's a brilliant idea. When politely disagreeing, I see your point, but I think we could try another way. When offering help, would you like me to handle that? Everyone practiced together, laughing and learning. It was fun, but also deeply meaningful. They were not just improving language, they were improving connection. At the end of the event, the manager stood up and said, Anna, you've changed our workplace. You've taught us that communication is not just speaking, it's understanding. Anna replied with a soft smile, I didn't change you. We all changed together, word by word. The room filled with applause. Everyone felt motivated to keep learning, not just English, but the language of kindness, respect, and teamwork. The next day, Anna received an email from the company's CEO. It said, your leadership through communication has transformed our culture. We'd like you to lead a new project, training teams in other branches to improve their English and confidence. Anna couldn't stop smiling. This was a dream come true, not just for her, but for everyone who had believed that small words could make big changes. She immediately gathered her team and shared the news. Cheers filled the room. We're going global, David shouted. Over the next few weeks, Anna and her team started preparing materials for the new program. They wanted to make English learning practical and fun, just like they had done in their own office. Their plan focused on real communication, not memorizing grammar, but using English to connect. Anna told her team, when people learn English, they often worry about mistakes, but what they really need is courage. We're going to teach that. English is not just a skill, it's a key to confidence. She designed lessons that included daily expressions such as, let's discuss this further. I'll take care of that task. That sounds like a good plan. Her goal was simple, to help people speak naturally without fear. The first training session was with a small team from another city. At first, the employees were shy, speaking softly and carefully. But Anna smiled and said, you're doing great. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about being brave. Slowly, the atmosphere changed. People started laughing, asking questions, and trying new phrases. Their confidence grew right before her eyes. After the session, one participant said, I used to hate speaking English, but now I actually enjoy it. Anna felt her heart fill with pride. That's the magic of communication. When you find your voice, everything changes. Over the next few months, Anna's project grew faster than anyone expected. Teams from other branches, even from different countries, began joining her online sessions. Every week, she taught lessons about business communication, polite expressions, and how to sound confident in English meetings. Her favorite session was always the one called Small Words, Big Power. She told her students, you don't need long or difficult sentences to sound professional. Sometimes short phrases show the most confidence. Then she gave examples. I agree completely. Let's move forward. That's a smart idea. Could you explain that a bit more? She explained, these sentences are short but powerful. They show respect, understanding, and leadership. Use them in your meetings and you'll see how people respond to you differently. During one class, a participant asked, Anna, what's the most important secret of good English speaking? She smiled and said, it's not words, it's warmth. People remember how your words make them feel. Speak with kindness, and your English will always sound beautiful. As more people joined her sessions, Anna saw a change in their faces, less fear, more light. They weren't just learning English, they were discovering their voices.
Employees began sharing stories of how they impressed their managers, gave confident presentations, or built friendships across cultures. One evening after class, Anna stayed back and read the feedback messages from her students. One said, "You didn't just teach me English, you taught me to believe in myself." Another said, "Now I look forward to speaking at work instead of avoiding it." Tears filled Anna's eyes, happy tears. She realized she wasn't just teaching language, she was helping people grow, dream, and connect. That night, as she closed her laptop, she whispered, "Confidence is the real fluency." Weeks later, Anna was invited to speak at a global business conference about her company's success. It was the first time she would address such a large international audience. The audience hall was huge, with bright lights, cameras, and hundreds of professionals from around the world. Yet, Anna felt calm because she knew her message came from the heart. When it was her turn, she walked to the stage with quiet confidence. She began, "Good morning, everyone. I'm honored to share a story, not about numbers, but about people, about how communication can transform an entire company." Her voice was warm and clear. She spoke slowly, using simple but powerful phrases. "We didn't just learn English, we learned to connect. Words can build bridges when spoken with respect. Confidence is born from communication, not perfection." The audience listened closely. Some took notes, others simply smiled. Anna shared how her team had once struggled to speak and how daily practice, patience, and teamwork changed everything. "We learned phrases like drive sales, match the competitors, and concrete solutions," she said. "But more importantly, we learned to listen, encourage, and believe in each other." Her closing words touched everyone deeply. English is not just a global language, it's a human language. It connects hearts, not just businesses. When she finished, the room filled with applause. People stood up, clapping loudly. After the session, many came to her and said, "Your story was inspiring. You made English feel alive." Later that night, as she stood by her hotel window overlooking the city lights, Anna felt proud but humble. She whispered, "This is what happens when words meet purpose." After the conference, messages began pouring into Anna's inbox, from business leaders, teachers, and even students around the world. They all wanted to learn more about her story and the way she taught English through confidence and connection. One message said, "You made us believe that English is not just for work, it's for life." Back at the office, Anna was greeted with applause. Her team had watched her speech online and were overjoyed. "You represented all of us," David said proudly. "You showed the world what communication really means." Anna smiled and said, "I just spoke about what we lived together. Every lesson, every word we practiced, it all came from our teamwork." Soon after, she was asked to create a video training course so that employees from other countries could learn from her method. She called it Speak to Connect. The course focused on natural English communication, emotional intelligence, and the beauty of expressing ideas clearly. She recorded videos where she spoke in her calm, friendly tone. "Remember," she said, "your goal is not to sound perfect. Your goal is to sound real. When you speak honestly, people trust you." In one episode, she shared her favorite lesson. Language is like light. It spreads when shared. Within a month, her program became popular in multiple countries. People from different cultures joined, practiced together, and even shared their success stories. It was no longer just about English, it was about global unity through communication. One night, Anna received a video from a small office in another country. The team there held a banner that said, "Thank you, Anna. You changed our confidence." Tears filled her eyes. She realized that her voice, once shy and quiet, had reached people across the world. She whispered softly, "This is the power of English with heart." Months later, Anna stood on the same stage where her journey had once begun, the company's main meeting room. But this time, it felt different. Around her were new faces, new teams, and new voices speaking English with confidence and pride. The company had grown into something far greater than a business. It had become a global family connected through words, ideas, and understanding. Anna looked around and said softly, "Do you remember when we were afraid to speak? Look at us now. We've built something beautiful. Not just success, but connection." The manager smiled and said, "It all started with one small idea, that communication can change everything." Anna nodded and said, "And it's true. When people learn to express themselves, they don't just speak better, they think better, work better, and live better." She took a deep breath and continued, "English gave us more than business. It gave us unity. It helped us understand each other beyond titles and languages. And that's what every word is meant to do. Bring people closer." The team listened quietly, inspired. She could see pride in their eyes, the same pride she once felt when she first dared to speak. Before ending, she wrote one final message on the board. "Speak with clarity, listen with care, learn with heart." Then she said, "That's the secret to every great conversation, not just in English, but in life." Everyone clapped warmly. Some smiled, others had tears in their eyes. They knew this wasn't the end, it was the beginning of a new chapter for all of them. A chapter written with confidence, courage, and connection. As Anna walked out of the room, sunlight fell on her face. She smiled and whispered, "Words built this world." Thank you for being a part of WorldPod English Video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, because every word you speak with heart brings the world a little closer together.
All right, people. We're holding this meeting today because we've got to do something about our sales, and we need to do it now. I want concrete solutions. How do you plan to drive sales, Roger?
Well, in fact, we're the most expensive in the market. So maybe we need to lower our prices to match the competitors.
Lower our prices. Not very creative. It'll never fly with Swan. What kind of thinking is that? Geez. Anybody else have a better plan? Natalie?
Perhaps, a promotion. Maybe a 2-for-1 offer or something like that.
What? That's the same thing. Bad idea. Really bad idea. Damn it, people, come on. Think. The CEO will be here any minute.
Hello, Mr. Swan.
Oh, Mr. Swan.
Hello, Mr. Swan.
Do we have any ideas yet?
Yes, Mr. Swan. We were kind of considering a 2-for-1 offer to get more competitive.
A 2-for-1 promotion. I kind of like the sound of that. It sounds like something we should consider.
Yeah, exactly. That's just what I was thinking. In fact, that's a brilliant idea. I'm glad we thought of that. Very creative.
Okay, great. I hope everyone understands a lot better now.
And I hope everyone could listen out for some of those key words.
Right, so now it's time for us to take a look at Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
So with Fluency Builder, we try to help you increase your fluency. We take a word or phrase that you already know and show you how to say it a little bit more naturally, a little bit more like a native English speaker.
Right, and we have 3 of these words for you today.
Yeah.
Let's start with the first one. Okay, so often students will say something like,
I'll be here soon.
or
I will arrive soon.
right, and these sentences are correct.
They're totally fine, but I think there's a better way to say this.
Right, and we heard it in the dialogue, so let's listen to what the person in the dialogue said.
The CEO will be here any minute. The CEO will be here any minute.
Okay, so be here any minute. He'll be here any minute. It just sounds a little bit more natural.
Yeah, I think I use this phrase quite often. He'll be here any minute.
He'll be here soon.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so let's move on to our second phrase for Fluency Builder.
So this phrase will help you to learn how to say, I'm thinking about something in a better sounding way.
Right, so you can say something like, we are thinking about a sales strategy.
Or, that sounds like something we should think about.
Right, and it's perfectly correct.
Yeah, there's no problem with this.
But in the dialogue, we heard something a little bit different, so let's listen to it.
It sounds like something we should consider. It sounds like something we should consider.
So consider sounds like a pretty natural way of saying it, right?
Yeah, and you know what? I think it sounds really kind of smart.
Yeah, it sounds more formal even.
A little
at
more
times.
professional.
Yeah. It's a good word.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So let's move on to our third word.
Marco, you already said our third word.
Oh, yeah, I actually did. Brilliant. That's a great word right there.
Yeah. A lot of people might say, that's a great idea, or great. But in the dialogue, we heard another way of saying the same idea.
That's a brilliant idea. That's a brilliant idea.
Okay, so this is great, but I would have to say that it's a little bit more British English.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there, but I also think it sort of gives more power to this idea that it's a good idea, brilliant idea.
And it's a really, really good idea.
Yeah.
I like that word.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're ready to listen to our dialogue again a third time, but at its normal speed.
All right, people, we're holding this meeting today because we've got to do something about our sales, and we need to do it now. I want concrete solutions. How do you plan to drive sales? Roger.
Well, in fact, we're the most expensive in the market, so maybe we need to lower our prices to match the competitors?
Lower our prices. Not very creative. It'll never fly with Swan. What kind of thinking is that? Jeez. Anyone have a better plan? Natalie.
Perhaps a promotion. Maybe a 2-for-1 offer or something like that.
What? It's the same thing. Bad idea. Really bad idea. Damn it, people. Come on. Think. The CEO will be here any minute.
Hello, Mr. Swan.
Oh, Mr. Swan.
Hello, Mr. Swan.
Do we have any ideas yet?
Yes, Mr. Swan. We were kind of considering a 2-for-1 offer to get more competitive.
A 2-for-1 promotion. I kind of like the sound of that. It sounds like something we should consider.
Yeah, exactly. That's just what I was thinking. In fact, it's a brilliant idea. I'm glad we thought of that. Very creative.
All right, so listening to this dialogue makes you think about this boss. I'm pretty sure everyone has had a manager or a supervisor that's similar to this guy.
Yeah, this boss, Clark, I would have to say he sounds like a terrible person to work for.
Yeah, that's true. If you're a manager, you want to motivate your employees.
I think it's the most important thing a manager does is to encourage his or her employees and to help support them to grow and to be better people in the job. And this guy is totally not doing this.
And you can tell because they are a little bit scared of talking, and he cuts them off with saying, oh, it's a bad idea, give me a better idea, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I could never work for a guy like this. You know, my first boss that I had when I first entered the workforce, I was in a very junior position and I was working for a large company, and the general manager of the company, he was amazing. He was so encouraging. He knew every single employee's name, first name, and he would, make an effort to stop and say hello and ask them how things were going. And you know what? This left me with such a good feeling about the company that I really wanted to work hard for this company and try my best. And I think that I've never met such a great boss as this guy.
No, I think that's true. Definitely, if you have a boss that's encouraging and motivating like that, it makes you work harder and makes you feel part of a really special team. And that's something we can all agree on, and I'm sure all our managers out there do the same. Well, you know what? I hope some of our listeners log on to our website and maybe they can tell us some experiences with bad managers or good managers, or if they are managers, how they handle things.
Yeah, and hopefully they can use some of these great phrases that we talked about today.
Great. So be sure, everyone, to visit our website at englishpod.com, and where you can find a lot of other information and really good resources to continue improving your English.
That's right. So thanks for listening today, everyone. And until next time, this is goodbye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. A real or specific solution to a problem.
Concrete solutions.
Increase sales.
Drive sales.
In the industry.
In the market.
Be as good as or better than other companies in the same industry.
To match the competitors.
Will not work. Will not be approved.
Will never fly.
Something done to make people aware of a product.
Promotion.
Will arrive very soon.
Be here any minute.
Thinking about.
To consider.
Excellent.
Brilliant.
As good as or better than others of the same type.
Competitive.
Make sales successfully.
Win sales.
Plans for a company's sales activities.
Sales strategy.
The process a customer goes through when deciding to buy a product.
Sales cycle.
To sell more than others.
To outsell.
When a customer buys the same brand over and over.
Customer loyalty.
Let's try that faster. Excellent.
Brilliant.
Will arrive very soon.
Be here any minute.
To sell more than others.
To outsell.
Will not work. Will not be approved.
Will never fly.
The process a customer goes through when deciding to buy a product.
Sales cycle.
Something done to make people aware of a product.
Promotion.
In the industry.
In the market.
Increase sales.
Drive sales.
Be as good as or better than other companies in the same industry.
To match the competitors.
As good as or better than others of the same type.
Competitive.
Make sales successfully.
Win sales.
Plans for a company's sales activities.
Sales strategy.
When a customer buys the same brand over and over.
Customer loyalty.
Thinking about.
To consider.
A real or specific solution to a problem.
Concrete solutions.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Drive sales. If we want to drive sales, I think we need to spend more time training our salespeople. Drive sales. The most important thing for us right now is to focus on driving sales. Drive sales. I think if we increase our marketing budget, it will help us to drive sales in the fourth quarter. I expect each of you to come to the meeting tomorrow with concrete solutions for our recruitment problem. Dale, have you come up with any concrete solution? I'm sorry, but I just can't offer any concrete solutions right now. Promotion. We can't have a sales promotion right now because our costs are too high. Promotion. The department store is offering a promotion. Everything is 50% off. Let's go shopping. Promotion. A 2-for-1 promotion might be a way to attract new customers. We guarantee that we can match the competitor's lowest price. It's impossible for us to match the competitors. Our costs are just too high. Do you think we can match the competitor's quality and still keep our price low? In the market. English Pod is the best podcast in the market. In the market. iPods are the most popular MP3 players in the market. In the market. Our product is the cheapest in the market. Will never fly. This marketing plan will never fly. We just don't have enough money for it. Will never fly. I like that idea, but it'll never fly with management. Will never fly. Brad told me his idea for a film script, but the story will never fly. It's not interesting enough. Be here any minute. Hurry up. The bus will be here any minute. Be here any minute. Nick just called. He said he should be here any minute. Be here any minute. Is everything prepared for the meeting? The CEO will be here any minute. To consider. We're considering a sales promotion. To consider. I think we need to consider a new sales strategy. To consider. Have you considered reducing the price? Brilliant. That's a brilliant idea. Brilliant. This is a brilliant marketing plan. Brilliant. What a brilliant suggestion. Thanks, Roger.